Hi everybody, my name is Jennifer and welcome to my channel where I talk about books, music, movies, and anything else that takes my fancy. Today I'm doing a bookish video. It is the books I want to finish before the end of 2017. Right now when I'm filming this, there's 3.5 months left to the year. I've read 90 books so far. Woohoo, go me. I upped my original Goodreads goal was 75, so I upped it to 100, so I'm trying to make that to 100, and I don't really see that as being a problem. And these are some of the books I want to include. This is not meant to be a comprehensive list, nor is it set in stone. I can feel free to, I don't hold myself to this like it's a blood oath or anything like that, but you know, they're books that I've been wanting to read all year and I'd like to get to them at some point. All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and get started. First off, with one book. It's called The Night Eternal. It's by Guillermo del Toro and Chuck Hogan. It's the third book in the Strain trilogy. I read the first book, The Strain, in August, and I just got finished with the second book, The Fall, and it's getting good. It's very action-packed. I'm quite enjoying it, so I'm looking forward to reading the third one as soon as the hold comes from my library. So that's the one book that I don't actually have that I'm going to talk about. So yeah, okay, let's get started. So I'm going to start off with two nonfiction picks. They're kind of large. This used to be an old library book, so the barcode's cut out right now. But it is Truman Capote's Portraits and Observations. I believe this is a collection of Truman's nonfiction. I believe I've read at some point that this book kind of pissed people off, but because he told stuff he probably shouldn't have been telling. But I'm not 100% sure, but it's a load of Truman Capote's nonfiction writings. Next up is The Making of Home by Judith Flanders. It is pretty much what it says it is. 500-year story of how our houses became our homes. I bought this after I listened to an interview that Judith Flanders gave, and I thought it was super interesting. And I've had this book for a while, but I just haven't gotten around to reading it. And this winter, I think I do want to get around to it. Oh, another book that might end up on my TBR from the library is To the Bright Edge of the World by Eowyn Ivey. It seems really cold, and I'm thinking, now, I live in Central Florida. It's not going to get cold until the end of December to January, so I might push that off until January. I might not, but The Bright Edge of the World by Eowyn Ivey is a book I really want to read. So, on to the fiction. This is the Signet Classic bind-up of Frankenstein, Dracula, and Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde. I'd like to read this whole thing. I've never read Frankenstein, and I've never been able to finish Dracula. I've tried it twice, and it's kind of bored me to tears. However, I'm going to give it another shot this year, and I'm going to try really hard. I might do audiobook, but the first two times I tried were audiobooks, so I don't know if that'll help. It usually helps, but I don't know. Maybe I'll try it with the reading, but I'm going to get through it this year. I am. Alright, next up is my Austens. I have Mansfield Park. I joined a group that was supposed to read all of the Austens by the end of the year, like month after month, but then the group just kind of fell apart after a few months. So I've been trying to continue on by myself. So we have Mansfield Park. I have Sense and Sensibility here. I'm trying to get that done. You know, I keep saying that like it's an unpleasant chore. I don't feel like it's going to be an unpleasant chore. I love Jane Austen, which is why I want to read all her books. And on my Kindle, I have Lady Susan, which is a short novella, I think. And I want to read that too by the end of the year. Yeah, I want to finish my Austens by the end of the year. I think it would be really good. So next up is the Zara of Love and Techno. Last year, A Constellation of Vital Phenomena was on my top of 2016 list because it was wonderful. And now I want to, so I went out and I bought the Zara of Love and Techno, and now I want to read it by the end of the year. Next up is another cold one. Well, it could be a cold one. Not all mountains are cold, but I feel like it could be. This is The Magic Mountain by Thomas Mann. I don't know. This has over 700 pages, including this end part, the making of Magic Mountain. So, I don't know. I might get through all of this year. I'm going to give it a good old college try there, though. Adam at Memento Mori read this last year, and he made it sound really interesting. So, I'm going to give it a shot, give it a go. Next up is another one that sounds really interesting, and I've had it for a little while, and I haven't gotten around to reading it yet. It's The Library at Mount Char. I'm going to try to get this sometime by the end of October. I think I want to get this read because it sounds creepy and it feels like a good spooky read for autumn in the month of my birth, October. Next up is a book I just bought recently. It's called Southern Gods. It's by John Horner Jacobs. Bluesman, possibly a pact with the devil. There are forces much more malevolent than the devil, and reckonings more painful than hell. Ooh. I don't know. This description at the end, which I've read in a recent video, so you can go back and check one of those. I found that really compelling, so very interested in how that turns out. Next up is The Lesser Bohemians by Emer McBride. I bought this a few months ago. It's about a girl who goes to London to study drama and then falls violently in love with an older actor. That's gonna end well. It could. Anyway, the only problem I have with this book is it's a paperback, but it's the same size as a hardback, which drives me nuts. They don't, go together, in my opinion. But I think this should be a fast read. One, because of Emer McBride's writing style. And also, just I don't know if you can see, but the pages, the lines are spaced out, and the writing's kind of big. So, next up is a reread that I've been saying I'm going to be rereading, all through the year, but I just ended up reading Idaho by Emily Ruskovich, which I loved. And part of it takes place in a women's prison. And one of the main character's mom goes to prison, and I just thought, maybe I should read that. I've been wanting to read it. I haven't read it in a very long time, and when I was 18, it was my favorite book, so I'm going to give it a go. Next up is a book I bought last year for my birthday, and I haven't read it yet. It's a tour teen. I guess it's kind of a YA, and it's also a Russian fairy tale retelling. It's Vaas in the Night by Sarah Porter. Yeah, in October or November I'm going to get to this, because what happens is this girl has a doll that was given to her by her mother, and the nights keep getting longer and longer. And yeah, she has a wooden doll that's like animate somehow. Anyway, I'm gonna at least give it a shot because I liked the premise enough to buy it, so I'm gonna try to read it. Yeah, so those are that's a reasonably sized portion of the books I'm hoping to read by the end of the year. Do you guys have any books that you would like to read by the end of the year? Please put them below in the comment section. Or if you want to discuss any of the books that I have going on in my list, feel free to do so. Also, feel free, if you want, to like, share, and subscribe. Yeah. Thank you so much for dropping by. Have a good day. Bye.